Students, in this video session, we will learn introduction part of alternating current. What is mean by alternating current and how do you represent alternating current mathematically, and what is the relation between alternating current and direct current, difference between alternating current and direct current. In the earlier classes, in the earlier video sessions about a capacitor we have learned, inductor we have learned, resistor we have learned. Now let us take a resistor which is connected across the terminals of a battery. You are taking a resistor and you are connecting across the terminals of the battery. This is B and this is R. When you are connecting it to the battery, current pass through this circuit in the direction from positive terminal to negative terminal. Always its direction is constant. It will be from positive terminal to negative terminal of the battery. Current starts from positive terminal and it will be traveling always towards the negative terminal, which goes in one direction. This type of current which pass in the circuit such that it is only in one direction is called direct current or DC. It is called direct current or DC. If the direction of current in the resistor or in any other element, say you are taking a circuit, this is a resistor, and you are connecting it with a type of current where the direction of current in this resistor once positive and once negative. The direction of current will be altered in this resistor. Then such type of current is said to be alternating current. The direction of current in this resistor when connected with one external source, this is source and this is AC source. Symbol of AC source is represented just like how I have written here. This is AC source. If the resistor is connected to AC source, the direction of the current in the resistor will alter with respect to time. Such type of current which alters its direction continuously with respect to time is said to be alternating current. Usually current in this resistor varies sinusoidally with time. Sinusoidal in the sense like you can write it as y is equal to some a sine of omega t or a cos of omega t. These functions are sinusoidal functions. So the current which is variable in this resistor varies sinusoidally with respect to time. Therefore, these are said to be varying alternating currents. Students, in the previous chapter, electromagnetic induction chapter, we have already learned that electrical energy can be generated by AC generator. So we have already learned how to generate electrical energy in AC generator. There will be north and south poles of the battery of the magnet, and there is a coil. This coil would undergo rotation in external magnetic field, which produces some EMF, and that EMF will induce currents in the circuit, and such current is said to be induced current. Due to rotation of the coil in external magnetic field, so whenever the coil is rotating, based on that coil rotation, the current in the circuit will be altered. In the first condition, the coil is placed like this vertically, and this vertically placed coil is rotated 1/4. As a result, flux would undergo change. Therefore, EMF is increased to its maximum value, and then again it is rotated by one more quarter revolution. Therefore, EMF gets decreased to 0, and then again it is rotated by one more quarter. As a result, the direction of the coil ends will be altered in these slip rings. The direction of current becomes negative and it is increased to maximum, and then again it is decreased to 0. Due to rotation of the coil in external magnetic field, as the sides of the coil would undergo change with respect to this carbon brushes, the EMF produced within the coil will be opposite for every quarter. As a result, a time variable alternating current is produced in the circuit. This is how AC current is being generated. Usually, AC current is represented with this graph. Either it can be sine graph or it can be cos graph. If the coil is starting from the vertical position, then you will be getting a sine graph. If the coil is starting with horizontal position, then you will be getting a cos graph. So this is the graph which represents variable. The direction of current, if it is constant, it is said to be direct current. If current varies in such a way, there is no proper maximum and minimum, it is said to be variable current. It is not alternating, it's just a variable. And whenever a alternating current is converted to direct current with diodes in rectifier circuit, you will be getting such pulsated current. Pulsated currents appears like these pulses. This is one pulse. This is one more pulse. This is one more pulse. This is one more pulse. Such current is called pulsating currents. AC circuits will obey Ohm's law. As usual, V is equal to IR is applicable for AC and as well as DC. In both the cases, Ohm's law is valid. Joule's heating law is also valid in both the cases, in AC and as well as DC. This is how alternating current is being generated in AC generator. As name itself tells you, alternating voltage mean the voltage whose magnitude and direction changes with respect to time is defined as alternating voltage. The alternating voltage in general use is sinusoidal voltage. We generally call it as sinusoidal voltage. It is produced by rotating a coil in external magnetic field with uniform angular velocity. As a result, there will be some maximum value, there will be some minimum value. So I can represent AC as V is equal to V naught into sine of omega t, or you can write it as EMF E is equal to E naught into sine omega t. This is how mathematical representation of AC voltage. AC voltage is represented with this sinusoidal function. With sinusoidal functions, you will be representing this AC voltage. The maximum value for V maximum will be equal to V naught. This is called as peak value of voltage. It is called peak value of voltage in the circuit. So students, as now you are able to distinguish what is meant by AC and what is meant by DC. DC is direct current, AC is alternating current. AC have few advantages and disadvantages. DC do have some advantages and disadvantages. Now we will compare advantages and disadvantages of alternating current over direct current. In the first point, it is that advantages of alternating current over direct current. The first advantage is the cost of generation of AC is less than that of DC. For production of direct current, we require batteries, and manufacturing of batteries is very expensive. You need ions and you need to mobilize them. That is becoming very expensive. So therefore, cost of production of AC is very simple. You will take a coil, you will place it in the external magnetic field and just go on rotating that coil, EMF will be developed. So production of generation of AC is very less expensive than that of DC. And the other advantage is AC can be conveniently converted into DC. You can convert alternating currents into direct current by the use of, with the help of rectifier circuit. So about rectifiers you will be learning in semiconductor devices. If you do not know what is the use of semiconductors, you can watch the video lectures in the YouTube channel. In semiconductor devices, I have explained completely about rectifiers. Coming to the next use, it is by supplying AC at high voltages, we can minimize transmission losses or line losses. As we know, whenever you are considering an electrical circuit where there is some current passing through this resistor, obviously there is some heat developed in the circuit. It is I square R into T. This is heat developed and this is called joules. When a constant magnitude of voltage is provided, constant current magnitude will be developed over there, and passing that constant magnitude of current in the circuit will produce constant development of heat in the circuit. That is called Joule's heating. If you are transmitting alternating currents AC at high voltages, these transmission losses can be minimized. That is the third advantage. Fourth advantage is AC is available in wide ranges of voltage. These voltages can be easily stepped up or stepped down with the help of transformers. So wide range of voltages can be produced in AC. That means you can produce 1 volt to 11,000 kilovolt. You can produce 11,000 up to 1 volt to 11,000 kilovolt, even 44,000 kilovolt also being produced. That depends upon area of the coil rotated, strength of the magnetic field which it is being in rotated. Based on that, you can vary the voltage value. It can be from very small to very large value. So AC is available in wide ranges, and these wide ranged alternating voltages can be either, their magnitude can be either decreased or increased by using step up transformer or step down transformer. These are the advantages of alternating current over direct current. Now coming to disadvantages of alternating current over direct current. What are the disadvantages? The first disadvantage is, as AC is more stronger than that of DC, it is more dangerous. Second disadvantage is AC is transmitted more by the surface of the conductor, and this is called skin effect. Due to this reason, that several strands of thin insulated wire instead of a single thick wire need to be used. So AC is always transmitted through surface of the conductor. Therefore, this effect of transformation of alternating voltage or current, alternating current on the skin of the conductor is said to be skin effect. As because of this skin effect, if you are able to see very small a wire, if in your house, if you just cut any wire, in that wire you are able to see very small copper wires, which are a bunch of copper wires which is being seen in that plastic cable. So when we are taking like the household supply which we use in our for our domestic purpose is alternating current, and that AC needs such a small area of cross-sectional wires. This is one disadvantage. Second is for electro refining and electrotyping, electroplating, only DC can be used but not AC. So of course there are few applications of DC and few applications of AC. DC cannot be used for greater magnitude of like in order to run a big industry. DC cannot be used. We will be using AC. Likewise, for mobile charging, we cannot use AC. We use DC. We can convert AC to DC by using rectifier circuit, and we will charge the mobiles. So of course, both have advantages and disadvantages. So just we have now compared advantages and disadvantages of alternating and as well as direct currents. As I already mentioned, alternating voltage and alternating current are those which alters their magnitudes continuously sinusoidally with respect to time, and at each time the value of current and voltage will be different. Therefore you need to find out it instantaneous value. Instantaneous means at particular instant of time what is the magnitude of current you want to find out. That is called instantaneous current. Likewise, at particular instant of time, what is the value of voltage? It is said to be instantaneous voltage. Instantaneous mean at particular instant of time. Average mean for the whole one complete time period, what is the magnitude of current? What is the magnitude of voltage? If we calculate, that is called average voltage or average current. As this current, AC current is instantaneous, it varies with respect to time. You will be finding out its instantaneous value. So instantaneous current is represented with a sinusoidal function like this, and instantaneous voltage can be represented with this function. Where this F is called phase difference. F is called phase difference of the two cycles, phase difference of the two waves, two AC cycles at particular instant of time. So at different instants of time, different cycles have different value. Therefore, you can compare their phase by using this F, which is said to be phase difference. Usually we will be denoting it with pi. I will denote it with pi. Pi is phase difference. Pi is phase difference, and omega is called angular frequency. Angular frequency, omega is equal to 2 pi divided by capital T. So how faster the coil is able to rotate, that much faster one cycle will be completed. Therefore, angular frequency is the number of rotations per unit time, which is omega, and unit of this is radian per second. And for every cycle, there will be one maximum value and there will be one minimum value. Maximum value of voltage is said to be amplitude of the voltage. Maximum value of current is said to be peak current. So you will be representing it with I naught or IM. Usually call it as peak value or amplitude of AC. Amplitude of AC. In order to these things are very easy because you will be learning the same concepts in oscillations chapter. So if you forgot oscillations basics, you can watch the video lectures of oscillations so that it will be clear. So as we have learned that whenever you are discussing about alternating current, it have instantaneous current and taking average of those all instantaneous values, you will be getting average current. Now let us calculate what is meant by average current and how is it different from instantaneous current. So instantaneous current is denoted with such sinusoidal function. Okay. For example, if I am taking a sinusoidal function like this, at this particular instant of time, the magnitude of I, like the value of this I is equal to some I naught into sine of omega into t. And this t is this time. At this particular time, what is its instantaneous value? How much is the instantaneous value it has? That's what instantaneous current. Now I want to find out total current through this one cycle. This is one cycle. That means for one complete revolution of coil in the magnetic field, the EMF produced is one cycle, or the current produced is one cycle, which represents for one cycle of rotation of the coil. What is the total magnitude I want to find out? If I want to take magnitude of this, what I should do? I'll take such all small elements. I'll take these all small elements and I'll add them and I will divide it with the net time from here to here, so that you will be getting average value. But when you are calculating average value, see here, in the first quarter cycle, I value is positive, increasing. In the next quarter cycle, I value is decreasing. Next quarter cycle, it is negative increase, and next negative decrease. So what is the average of this and this? It becomes 0. What is the average of this and this? Like, of course, this is what is the average of this total and this total? It becomes 0. Therefore, I average or E average for one complete cycle is 0. Why it is 0? There is one positive peak and there is one negative peak. The magnitude of positive peak and negative peak which is obtained in this one cycle for a period of 2 pi radian, it is constant, it is 0. Whatever the magnitude produced here, that will be nullified by the negative cycle. Therefore, overall, if you take average for one complete cycle, that will become 0. To avoid this, we will be always calculating average for half of the cycle of AC. Only for half cycle, we will calculate average. So if you want to calculate average of half cycle, what we will do? We will just eliminate this total part and we will be only taking this half cycle. We will be taking all the elements and we'll add them. That's what we integrate. We are integrating this small elements so that you will be getting net current or net voltage or average voltage in this half cycle. That is done in this average value of AC. Average value of AC is denoted with this symbol, or in some textbooks they will be writing it as I average, IAV. I average can be simply given by this function. I'll just take this function and substitute here within the time limits of 0 to t by 2. So I average is equal to integration 0 to t by 2, half of the total time period. F of t is equal to I naught sine omega t into dt divided by integration dt, limits are from t by 2. This is equal to I naught divided by integration dt is t, upper limit is t by 2, so that t by 2 I am substituting here, and numerator sine omega t dt. Sine integration is cos minus cos omega t divided by omega, limits are from 0 to capital T by 2. So wherever t is there, you just substitute this capital T by 2. You will be getting I average is equal to 2 I naught divided by pi. This is the average value, And you can even write E average is equal to 2 E naught divided by pi. If you evaluate that integration, you will be getting this value, which is called average value of AC over half of the cycle. So as we are taking average value of AC, if you are taking average of full cycle, you are getting 0. But if you are taking average of half cycle, you are getting a non-zero value. But remaining half cycle, which is in the negative peak, like this is negative peak, right? This is the negative peak. It is I and this is T. We have only calculated this average value. It is I naught divided by 2 I naught divided by pi. This is only for this cycle. What about this one? This negative one? In order to contribute, like this half, this negative value is also contributing some EMF. But we are not calculating this in the average, because if you are taking this into consideration, it is the net value becoming 0. So in order to avoid that, what we will do, actually we will be getting here minus 2 I naught divided by pi if you are taking only negative. What is negative whole square? This become positive, right? Therefore, what we will do, whatever the function we are getting in this case, that we will square. We will take a square of that and we will find out the average of that square term, which gives you a root mean square value called usually IRMS. Root mean square value is also called effective value or virtual value of AC. It is also called virtual value of AC. So in order to calculate virtual value of AC, we will be using this function where IRMS is equal to integration I naught sine omega t whole square dt. Limits are from 0 to t. I naught sine omega t whole square dt divided by, and see, this is for overall period, like 0 to capital T time. It's not t by 2, it's 0 to t. And integration dt, limits are from 0 to capital. Now this is written as I naught value, it is constant, divided by integration dt is t and upper limit is capital T. I am substituting here, and remained is sine square omega t. So I can write sine square omega t is equal to 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 1 minus cos omega t divided by 2, right? I think it's 2 omega. 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. So I'll be writing this as integration 0 to capital T 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by whole 2 into dt. You can evaluate this total integration. So IRMS is equal to, if you evaluate this total integration and substitute limit 0 to capital T, you will be getting it as I naught divided by root 2. So clearly you can understand now, if you are just taking the average of net current in the whole cycle, you are getting 0. But in order to avoid that, what we are doing, you are just taking the squares of individual term and taking average of those all squares. So it become IRMS, and IRMS value, it is I naught divided by root 2. Similarly, VRMS is equal to, in some textbooks they will be writing voltage as VRMS, or some textbooks they will write it as ERMS. Both are the one same, it is voltage, which is equal to E naught divided by root 2. This is called average RMS value or virtual value of AC. So far we have learned three different currents. One is I average, which is equal to 2 I naught divided by pi. Next is I RMS, which is equal to I naught divided by root 2. And the third one is I instantaneous, which is equal to I naught into sine omega t. Of course, if there is some phase difference, then you will include plus or minus pi over there. And the fourth one, I naught, which is called maximum peak current. Same way you can even write for voltage also. V average is equal to 2 V naught divided by pi. V RMS is equal to I naught divided by root 2. V instantaneous is equal to, sorry, this is V naught. It is V naught sine omega t. And the fourth one, V naught, it is called maximum peak voltage. Maximum peak voltage. So this IRMS and VRMS, it is approximately, it is called virtual value, the measurement of current and voltage by voltmeter and ammeter in AC circuit is this RMS value. It is not instant, it does not measure any instantaneous value, it measures RMS value. So therefore, usually in problems, if they mention virtual value of AC, you should just take it as IRMS and VRMS. It's also called virtual value. And this virtual value is like, it acts like DC value. Its magnitude is fixed. So magnitude of this value is being fixed. Therefore, this virtual value, it is treated as DC value of AC current. It is treated as DC value of AC current. These are the different types of currents which you can learn in AC, and using these equations we will be stepping forward when we are connecting this AC to different components. What would happen, that we will be learning in next video.